Hi, this is Kim Speedy from 10 Sigma. Welcome to episode 78 of Transition Tuesday. Today I'll be speaking with two special guests, Emily and Tom Iland, on their work with helping students with disabilities improve their life outcomes. Right now I'm going to switch over to this interview presentation.
Hello, Emily and Tom. Thank you for joining me on this interview presentation.
Oh, it's nice to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Before we get into your insights on helping students improve their life outcomes, I want to introduce both of you to our viewers. Know yourself, love yourself, be yourself. This is Tom Iland's advice for teens in transition to adulthood, especially others like him who have autism or other related disabilities. Tom has overcome many obstacles to reach his goals, graduating from college, working as a certified public accountant, living on his own, and having a girlfriend, just to name a few. His mother, Emily, is an award-winning author, educator, and leader in the field of special education. Now Tom and his mom, Emily, have turned their attention to improving life outcomes for others with autism and similar disabilities. Today, Tom and Emily will be discussing their new book, Come to Life, Your Guide to Self-Discovery, which was designed as a prequel to transition planning. Come to Life helps youth and their allies, parents and educators like you, engage in an active process of self-discovery together. Now I'm going to turn it over to Tom and Emily to tell you more.
Thank you very much, Kim. So I've discovered over the course of my own journey to self-discovery that I do really well with acronyms and mnemonics and memory aids. So I came up with this acronym for LIFE. It's love and relationships, independent living, further education, and employment. These are what people with autism and other learning differences may find struggles with over the course of transition and in the years leading up to transition.
Well, we have some new information about life outcomes for people with autism from the National Autism Indicators Report. So it's very useful information for us to look at life outcomes. And the first outcome is a services cliff in the first years after high school. In fact, there's a steep drop-off in services compared to those received during high school, with 8 out of 10 experiencing the service cliff. In the area of love and relationships, 5 out of 10 youth with autism did not talk on the phone or get invited to a social event in the past year that the survey was taken. So we're looking at social isolation and limited success in love and relationships. In the area of independent living, only 2 out of 10 had ever lived independently from their parents, which is not the case with age peers. It's more difficult for youth with autism to have an independent life. In the area of further education, only 3.6 of 10 went to community college, university, vocational school, or tech school, when we know that many have the potential to do so. But they're not out there working instead. Only 6 out of 10 had ever worked. In the area of health and wellness, when they're not having the life outcomes that they hope for and that we hope for, they're having complex health needs, including anxiety and depression in addition to ASD. So all of these things motivate us to ask, how do we improve life outcomes? And fortunately, there is some guidance for us from the National Collaborative on Workforce and Disability. They have identified guideposts for success in 5 areas, and these are things that we can improve upon to improve life outcomes. These guideposts are youth development and leadership, family involvement and supports, school-based preparatory experiences, career preparation and work experience, and connecting activities. And if you use the website that's shown here on the slide, you can learn all about these guideposts and what they mean and what activities are attached to them, because there's room for improvement in every transition plan and in every school or school district that's trying to improve transition, and it's wonderful to have these guideposts to help us. Today we want to talk more about the first guidepost, which is youth, development, and leadership. And this means that youth acquire the skills, behaviors, and attitudes that enable them to learn and grow in self-knowledge, social interaction, and physical and emotional health. And this is such a wonderful guidepost, but as you can imagine, it is somewhat neglected in transition planning. And then why are we surprised when youth have a hard time as adults if they didn't have the opportunity to acquire the skills, behaviors, and attitudes that help them in their self-knowledge, social interaction, and physical and emotional health? So we think that this process of self-discovery is essential for transition planning and should be the prequel to it. Because what we're seeing is young adults come to the table for transition planning, and no matter what question we ask, the answer is, I don't know. And this process of self-discovery helps youth discover answers to important questions about themselves so that they can participate in a more meaningful way in the transition process and have a plan that more realistically reflects them and what they want for themselves versus what others want for them. Self-discovery helps youth become self-advocates. They can become aware of their own strengths and challenges. They can feel good about who they are. They can accept themselves and their disability and learn to speak up for themselves. This is youth development. This is self-discovery. And we think it's such an important aspect and a neglected aspect of transition planning that Tom and I have written a new book all about the process of self-discovery, and Tom's going to tell you more about that.
The book is called Come to Life, Your Guide to Self-Discovery. I came up with this title because when I was in college, I realized I couldn't sit back and wait for life to come to me. It was up to me to come to life. I had to start making things happen for myself. One day my mom asked me, if you could tell people with autism or learning differences one thing, what would it be? And I said, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself. It's a mantra that I created and I live by it to this day. Starting with know yourself, how your diagnosis affects you, understanding yourself as a person first, both where you're doing well and where you can improve. Then moving on to the second part, love yourself. Even if you have a disability or a diagnosis, it does not mean that you are broken. Life is not over. You are still worthy and capable of love. Accepting yourself, warts and all, because once you love yourself, that's when others are going to love you in return. And then the final part of the mantra, be yourself. More specifically, be your best self, the best version of yourself, and being open to change and being willing to learn and grow, taking the considerations, the opinions, and the suggestions of others, specifically your allies, as we call them in Come to Life. Those are teachers, parents, therapists, people who want what's best for you. Be open to what they have to say. And we can't just tell young people, know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and expect them to know what that means or what to do next. So we have activities, and there are everyday opportunities that can help the young people learn and grow and become their best selves. Another part of the book we go into is about finding yourself, specifically your niche, because there are a lot of young people that might not know what they want to do with themselves. So by giving them some options and exploring those options, then getting some experience as to what worked and what didn't and why, they can then start to make decisions and take their lives to the next level or evolve. This is all summarized in Come to Life by E to the third power. Explore, experience, evolve. And the last chapter of Come to Life is to find your voice. Once you go through know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and you start to have an idea of what your niche is, what you do really well and how you can help yourself and others, you start to speak up for yourself, and you are the one that drives your life forward. You give input to your life because, yes, we want what's best for our young people, but we can't live their lives for them. They are the ones that have to live it, and they should be the one guiding the plan and making the life that they want to live. And these are some outcomes of the self-discovery process. Self-awareness, knowing about your disability and how it affects you, your strengths and your opportunities for improvement. Self-acceptance, realizing that you have value, you are worth it. And self-esteem, by having a positive outlook of yourself and feeling really good about yourself, that will attract more good people to you. And self-advocacy, really being able to speak up for yourself, ask for clarification when needed, and make sure you are living the life that you want to versus what someone else wants for you. The idea in the first chapter is we want young people to be driving their lives forward by putting themselves in the driver's seat rather than taking a back seat to their life, letting other people determine where their life is going. Or maybe they're in the passenger seat now. They know where they want to go, but they aren't sure how to get there, or they can't be the ones doing the driving. But ultimately, we want young people to be in that driver's seat so that they are living the life that they want to and are getting themselves there.
So we structured our book with activities and resources and materials so that teachers and educators and therapists can assist families in this, and especially assist youth in the process of self-discovery. So looking inside the book in the chapter on Love Yourself, we have a section on recognizing your talents, skills, and positive traits. And because a lot of youth, if you say, what are you good at, they can't answer such a broad question. So we help them narrow it down, and we help them discover good things about themselves. And the following activity is to stand in front of the mirror and say, I love my talent for music. I'm really good at singing, and I am a very persistent student. Getting them to stand in front of the mirror and feel good about themselves in a realistic way. We also want them to begin to take on more responsibility and begin to have more independent life today. So we talk about the tasks that are needed to be independent, and we ask the student, which one of these tasks would you like to learn first? In other words, they're not optional, but we structure things so that the youth become engaged and interested in the things that are going to help them have a successful life. So our book is available at thomasiland.com. We're very excited to bring Come to Life because we think it's missing. It's a missing link, and we've worked really hard for Tom's success. I also have been an advocate for over a decade for 300 families, and I'm an adjunct professor of special ed. So it all comes together in this book as our way of sharing some ideas that could help us have better outcomes, because that's just something we've got to do. And you can contact us through our websites or our email accounts. We are also on Facebook and Twitter. And wanted to let you know that today's bonus is one of the activities out of Come to Life, and it's called Puppy Love. And it's an activity in decision-making. And it's about picking out a puppy, in theory, picking out a puppy at the Kennel Club website, where you find out that based on the preferences that you put in, certain dogs will be the best fit for you. And if you change your preferences, the answers will be different. So that's a wonderful analogy for real life and decision making, and helps young people explore what they like, what they don't like, what they want, and the effects and outcomes of the decisions that they make. So it's a really fun thing, especially for people who love animals. And that's just one example of the type of things that are in the book to do together with students. We hope that you've enjoyed hearing about the process of self-discovery, and hope that you recognize it as a wonderful tool for youth.
Thank you for sharing your expertise and resources for our viewers today. We here at 10 Sigma are always looking for ways to help our teachers empower and improve their students' lives. So again, we really thank you for your insights and your expertise in the book that you just wrote. We'll really appreciate that resource.
Our pleasure, Kim.
Glad to do it.
Thank you for watching the video. I hope you use this information to help your students improve their life outcomes. Be sure to check your email for the bonus we just sent over. If this is the first time you've ever seen an episode of Transition Tuesday, the link below to receive the bonus. Be sure to like and share the video and leave a comment or suggestion for a future episode of Transition Tuesday. Have a great week. See you next Tuesday.